All right. Recording in progress.
Jolly good.
Oh, jolly good.
Jolly good.
All right. So how are we all? Good.
Yeah, good. How you
Fantastic.
doing?
How am I doing? Oh,
Yes.
terrific. Absolutely terrific. Got a
Yeah.
course on. I love this side of my job, getting people to speak with gusto. And I mean, Jerry's seen me before. You know, I
Yeah.
did that keynote, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago? A couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. Oh, Lizelle, you. Yeah. So it was a keynote on basically vocal variety and vocal variety. You know what? I'm going to make a start. Jet Ski can come in. All right.
Okay.
We'll have more listening to the recording of this than we will hear, but it doesn't matter. All right. So what I want to do is just before we start is to get an idea from you on what you're wanting to get out of these two sessions. So what is it that you want to walk away with? Is it excitement? Is it a glass of wine? Is it, what is it that you're wanting to walk away with? What do you define as being success? Who wants
Uh,
to say?
I'll go.
Yeah.
For me, it's just really feeling, just getting rid of that, that mirror feeling when you're talking, like,
Hmm.
that you feel very self-conscious, I guess.
Hmm.
And just being able to be comfortable in that moment and making sure that you're connecting to your audience and they're understanding what you're saying and yeah, instead of a jumble of thoughts, just something very sequential and easy to understand. That's what I'd like to get.
Yeah, so in other words, it's a straight line, isn't it? Rather than all these jumbled thoughts in your mind.
Yeah, just to be more confident, with that and be able to structure it in a way that makes sense and also to hold on to those thoughts when the spotlight is on me. Because that's the part I suffer with. Like I'm pretty good, like I can jabber away, but the moment it's like, "Oh, okay, Eve, go." It's like and then even though I had great ideas, they just seem to melt away in like nerves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, mine would be pretty similar too, I guess. It's that confidence, knowing what to say and yeah, like when the spotlight's on you, the nerves, um, yeah. So,
Okay. So it's about nerves. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, just yeah, confidence, the yeah, knowing what to say to attract customers.
Okay. Yeah. Lizelle, what are your thoughts?
Thoughts. So, as some of you know, I've been doing Toastmasters for a while, maybe just over 2 years.
Mhm.
However, I've managed to conquer some of my fears, but there is still some underlying ones as well that doesn't seem to be, doesn't seem, it's not easy for me to let go of. Like when I do speak, I'm sometimes able to like structure my thoughts.
Mhm.
But there's times when I don't as well. So I'm thinking to maybe get some more tips
Okay.
and yeah.
So basically it's clarifying your thoughts.
Yeah, and just any tips or tricks I can pick up along the way to improve. So for me, I've noticed I'm a perfectionist when I want to speak and I want to do things. And because I think I want to focus too much on being perfect,
Mm.
I'm losing the point of being spontaneous when speaking. And I think more to get to being myself when I speak and let go of the anxiousness. So it's basically the same
Okay.
like
All right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Liana and Eva's mentioned.
Jerry. Yeah. Okay, Jerry, what
Yeah,
are your thoughts?
yeah. I mean, hearing advices like getting out of your comfort zone, which is absolutely useless. I mean, for me, it is basically creating a comfort zone and also allowing other people to get into it. And my journey to that is basically sometimes, most of the times, I feel very comfortable, but the other people around me are not comfortable as I am. So this is one of the challenges which I'm trying to tackle.
Okay, so it's the audience sometimes that you might feel as though they're not comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Jürgen. All right, we've got a small group.
Yeah, hi
Yeah.
there.
We've got a
Took a
small
bit.
group tonight, so the recording, so smile, the recording's going out to some people. Jürgen, we're just talking about what you define as success from this from these two days and the 1 hour. What do you define as success? What are you wanting to get out of it? What are your pain points?
Um, Once I roll, I'm okay, but it's initial hesitation, the initial hook, the clarity to just get into it and start. That is a combination of being dyslexic and German, but that's always been my problem. To get the clear point up front, so not to lose the people in the first 10 seconds.
Okay, so it's that initial impact, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. You guys got your workbooks there?
Yep.
Okay. Now, if there's any questions, feel free to just, let me know. There is a hell of a lot of stuff to cover. Uh, so, so if you feel as though something needs clarifying, then let me know at the end, and I'm happy to stick around for a quarter of an hour or so. But we can also cover that in the 1 hour that I'm spending with you. All right. So what I'm going to do is share my screen now. Hopefully you can see all my slides in it, my carefully made slides. These are slides I was telling Jerry that I first put together, oh gosh, about last May or June, and I was in the caravan. I don't know whether you know my story, all of you, but 2 years ago, it's just almost 2.5 years ago now, I was made homeless. And I ended up in an old caravan, which was rat infested. I mean, literally, I woke once and a rat was eating what bedclothes I had. And, fly infested in the summer. It was so hot, man. Unbelievable. And then in the winter, it was leaking. And one stage, I stepped underneath the mattress on the wire netting and cut all my back and whatnot. But so 2.5 years, I've come to be an award-winning public speaker, and I've done that through dedication and just saying that I'm not going to give up. I'm never going to give up. So when it comes to public speaking, I think you need to say the same thing, that no matter how hard you find it, no matter how difficult you might find, to start off or to get your point across, impossibility is not infinite. I've proved that. God knows, I could have just stayed in that caravan and just wasted my life away at 65 or 66 now. But I was determined not to. And so each one of you, although you might have some butterflies there or you might be confused about what you're saying, that's not permanent. Okay, so the first thing what we need to do is we need to understand that whatever you're wanting to learn, you're learning. Okay, and that the time for change begins now. All right, begins now. So that's the first thing you need to understand. All right, I'm going to share my screen and hopefully you can see it and you'll see me side by side, will you?
Yep.
See at the bottom, yeah.
All
Oh,
good.
see me at the bottom. Well, there
Yeah,
you
bottom
go.
left.
Oh, fantastic. All right, I can't even see myself here, but anyway, I'll figure that. Let me just change, try and get myself all setting up here. Zoom meeting. Oh, there you are over there. Okay, am I still sharing? Or
Yeah, I can still see your desktop of trees and you on the bottom
oh,
left.
you can see my desktop of trees, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's no good. I want you to see my presentation. There it is there. Right, can you see that now?
No.
No.
Oh, you can't see my presentation.
Mm-mm.
Oh, good God. All right, we'll try that one again, won't we? No? Like I had all this figured out. All right, okay, why don't we just try that one again, eh?
Mm.
Yeah, right, now, share.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's better. Okay. Oh, thank goodness for that. All right. And possibility, right, is never infinite. True. Okay. So in actual fact, that's the second slide, right? It was only oh gosh, a few years ago actually that I started the International Speech Academy. It was in 2015 after the first year in Toastmasters, actually, I won through to the national final in the inspirational. Toastmasters will know it as the international speech. And so I thought, oh, that's not a bad idea. I'll start teaching people how to speak. And it went quite well. So I formed the International Speech Academy as part of that. So that's where the INSA comes into it. It looks pretty cool, eh? Look, I mean, he's a branding. What are your thoughts on that, bro?
What, the insert part or the
The,
bit that
well,
that
the
I
INSA.
gave you?
Well, yeah, that's just me, right? What do you think of the INSA one?
It says international and global, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
cool. Thank you. That would be nice.
I do like it, Peter. I saw it and I just thought it makes me think of Star Wars and
Okay.
the future and
All
stuff.
right.
I
You
really
get a
like,
chocolate fish next time I see you, right? Okay. Has everybody downloaded the butterfly phenomenon? If not, take a shot of the QR code. It'll take you through to my web page or a special page on my web page. You just fill in your details and download it. It's free. All right. So the book I wrote that, oh gosh, two years ago was it? When I first was made homeless, I think, just after, or maybe it bridged that gap. And I remember writing it in the caravan. God, it was horrific. But anyway, it turned out all right. So anybody read it?
I haven't yet, no.
You haven't yet.
Few pages.
Oh, you've read it? Jerry, what do you, okay.
Few pages. I think I started with the
All right,
glossophobia,
cool.
the fear
So,
of public speaking, all that.
okay, well, the first thing that we're going to cover, right, is what a lot of you have mentioned, and that's butterflies. And that's why I named the book The Butterfly Phenomenon. Because when you're up public speaking, a lot of people will have these little butterflies, right? And it's really weird for me because I don't understand that. I don't get it. I've never had butterflies on stage. Even as a kid and 5 years old, I used to get up in front of the class and just jabber on about stuff. So,
Wow. That's a
so
gift.
I don't know. Maybe it's just stupidity. I, I mean, I mean,
Uh,
I was bullied at school, so the only way I could fight back was with words. And for a lot of us, that's a way of fighting back against things that go wrong. So if you're having trouble in your business or you want to get more business and you're in trouble like that, or you just want to, I don't know, maybe break out of something, to be able to speak in public is an incredible weapon against that. And I found that as a 5-year-old, I never remember not speaking. So this is about everything scary. Now, the fear of public speaking is one of the highest fears in the world. In fact, it's feared more than death. Right? There's numerous, yeah,
Yeah.
go figure. So there's numerous studies that tell that people would rather die than go on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would anybody want to die rather than go? No,
no,
me neither.
I'm
But
not that bad yet.
no, that's right. But the thing is that this is a prevalent fear. So we need to get it out of our minds that it's uncommon and that you're the only one that faces that, because you're not. The majority of people, even professional speakers, are fearful before they go on stage. And you would be surprised who's fearful, right? It's a strange thing. I'm a bit nervous leading up to a conference, but once I hit the stage, man, it's my happy place. And do you know what? My heart rate goes down, right? I'm most relaxed when I'm on stage or on my motorcycle. Go figure. It's the two things that people would probably have an increase rate. So we don't worry about that. Now, the fact is that you can be cured. There's nothing that's stopping you from getting rid of the fear of public speaking or getting rid of glossophobia. I know that sounds probably a bit strange to you because if you fear something, what is fear? Well, if you fear something, it's assuming that something bad will happen, right? In the butterfly phenomenon, I talk about things like bungee jumping. So bungee jumping is inherently safe. Has anybody bungee jumped here? Oh, mate, you want to try it.
No.
It's fantastic. I've jumped off the Harbour Bridge, man. It's so cool. So why are people scared of bungee jumping? Because they fear that they might get hurt, right? But the reality is in bungee jumping, it's safer than hopping in your car. So if that's the reality, what we're doing is we're fearing something that may or may not happen. So there are two things that create, that get rid of fear. The first is confidence. Confidence is really important, and we'll be looking at ways to increase your confidence. But the other thing is competence. The better you are at doing something, the less fear you'll have, right? Like if I said to you, do you want to do 200 kilometers an hour on the back of my motorcycle? I mean, what would you say? No. All right. But once you learnt, right, you would be okay. Or if I said to you, well, take my own story. I started playing rugby at 52 and I was shit scared. When I hopped on the field for the first time, I didn't know what I was doing. And there were people that were 30 years younger than me and weighed 40 kilos more. And yeah, I was a bit scared. But after a while, I became better at it because I trained like hell. And therefore, my confidence increased and my fear decreased. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So butterfly, we need to ask ourselves three main questions if we fear something. First of all, what I want you to do is write down, and I'm going to give you 60 seconds for this, and you'll find out I do this a few times, all right? So in 60 seconds, I want you to tell me as many things that could happen when you're speaking in public. Does that make sense? Anybody want to clarify that?
Okay.
Okay, as many things as you can name that could happen when you're on stage. Go. Share some music here, shouldn't I? What could happen?
Your voice failed, so you don't even get a beat on
Write
it.
it down. Write it down. Your voice fell. Okay. Write down whatever comes to mind. The first things that come to mind. Okay, you're halfway there. "45 seconds, you got 15 seconds left." I see, Eve, you're wondering. Isn't it interesting? Okay. 3, 2, 1, stop. All right. Did anybody get 10 reasons? 10 things?
No.
No. You got 5? Who got 5?
Right.
3? Only 3.
Yeah.
4? Lizelle, what about you?
I got 4.
4? Ed?
Yeah. 4 as well,
4.
but I think they're variations of the same theme.
Okay. Anybody want to tell me what they are?
I think I'll
Sure.
start.
Oh,
I think the first thing is forgetting my lines. That's the first one. Second one, I think, is what if people don't like what I say? And the other three are almost the same. Like, am I politically or logically correct about what I say? Is my content too sensitive? Or will people put this against me after I speak?
Okay, I'm going to just redirect you towards this. Okay, what's the first word there?
First word,
No,
forgetting.
no, on the slide. What's the first word?
Confidence.
Confidence. All right. So what you're basically saying is you lack confidence. All right. Now, let's take 30 seconds. You've got 4 to 5, things that could happen. Sorry, there's a lot of kids in the background. Are you hearing that? All these
No.
kids?
No, I don't
You
hear
know?
that.
Okay. All right. There's next door, they're lovely kids, but they're pretty noisy. But okay, so next thing, beside what could happen, I want you to say, why could it happen? All right, so you've got the
Thank you.
what. So those things that you've said, like forgetting your lines, for example, or the audience might not like what you're saying or something. Next, put why could that happen? So it's the why. So you've got the what will happen. Now you're saying, why would that happen? Okay, you got 30 seconds. You ready? And look, when you do this, it really doesn't matter what you write because it's your gig, right? Go. Deep thinking there, mate.
Mm,
It's hard when you think about it, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay. Has everybody got a few whys?
Well, not very many.
Not many. Yeah, Jerry?
No.
Two.
Yeah. Liana, have you got why?
Two.
Two? Do you mind sharing them?
Confidence,
Hmm.
and I'll say probably not my ideal audience.
Okay. Right, next one. This is a big one. I want you to try and identify how this would harm you. So you forget your lines or you're not right audience or whatever. How could this harm you? What, how could it harm you? All right. You've got, well, maybe, what do you want? 30 seconds? No. How could it harm you? Like, would a building fall in and you be crushed, or a major earthquake happen, or a typhoon, forest fire, maybe, if you forgot your life. Maybe a raging bull knocking you over, or a goat. How could it harm you? Okay, stop. Anybody got some hows? Jerry?
We'll just
Or Liana?
Or just it would knock my confidence further. That was the only thing that I could think of.
Okay, so it comes back to one word, doesn't it? Confidence.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back a few. All right. So confidence and competence, right? See, confidence is something that you want to be in power of what you do, right? Yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
Okay, so we've had a look at the 3 questions, which is what could happen. All right, so we've identified that. The next thing was said, why that could happen, right? They're also all related to confidence, right? So if you've got confidence, you understand that things bad won't happen. But if you've got fear, you're assuming that something bad will happen. There's a difference. Confidence, a person that is confident knows what they're going to do next. And they know, for example, if I jump on a bungee and I'm confident that I'll survive, I know that I don't have to fear it. But if I fear it, then I don't have confidence in the bungee jumping operation. Does that make sense? All right.
mhm.
And then it's how could it harm you? Well, how could those things harm you? I mean, what is the physical thing that it could do to you? We talk about how it affects our brains, but let's get down to the physical side. How could it harm you? Right? Next thing is we rationalize our fear. So that's what you've been doing. You've been rationalizing it. The more we think about that fear and the consequences and the real consequences, what could it do? Could it really harm you? And what would it do to you? Because if you can't figure out what it would do and how it would harm you, and if it comes back to confidence, which is the opposite of fear, then we are starting to rationalize our fears. So we're going to look at how to do that. All right.
Mm.
The first thing is that we understand the reasons. We understand the reasons why we're feeling like that. So we've already done that. We've had a look at the what, we've had a look at the why, we've had a look at the how. So what are the real reasons for it? Is it because we've had a past bad experience? You know,
Yes.
yeah, it could be.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So guess what? The past, P-A-S-T, has passed, P-A-S-S-E-D. It's not going to happen again. It's finished. It's over. My homelessness isn't going to happen again. The tragedy of my first wife in the 1990s isn't going to happen again. I can't change it. I can't go back and change it. So I've got to accept it.
Mm.
We can't do anything that changes the past. So we've got to say, okay, here's a barrier. That's the past. We've got the future. Right?
Yeah.
So understand the reasons. It could be something that's happening at the present, like, for instance, your heart rate might go up. So that generates a fear. When you have a panic attack, and I used to have panic attacks, they're really nasty. Your heart rate goes up, and it's an ever increasing little circle. It's a spiral,
Mm. Yeah.
and we start to sink into a panic. So that's the now. In the future, it's what we've already looked at. What could happen? Why could it happen? And how would it affect us? So we've got the past, which are memories, things that happen in our past. And then we've got the present. So we're feeling something inside of us. And then we've got the future saying, well, actually, how is it going to affect us? And it's the same for any fear. Doesn't matter what it is. All right,
Mm.
so we've got to look at the logical outcomes. So what are the logical outcomes of you standing up talking to a group of people?
What do you mean after the first three questions, or?
Now, tell me the logical reasons. You've looked at those questions, you've looked at the outcome. What is a logical outcome of you speaking in front of people? What could throw them around? What are some logical outcomes?
Well, they love me and they love what I have to say.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Other logical outcomes?
That's what you really want to connect with them. You want them to hear you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ever debated?
Yeah.
I remember my first presentation back in college, and I remember people in the back bench sleeping, so maybe one logical outcome is a sleepy audience.
Sleeping.
Yeah,
You-
sleepy
You've re
audience.
well, you've got a relaxing voice, Jerry. So, that's not too bad. Start singing him
Yeah,
a
that was in my
lullaby.
early 20s.
I'll get out my guitar. We can sing Morningtown Ride or something. You guys are far too young to remember that.
But
Okay.
that presentation was boring, so
Okay.
it was
So,
justified.
but hang on. That's an interesting thing. So boring. What do you mean by that?
I mean, people weren't captivated by it. I still remember that 45-minute presentation that it was at 10, it was in my undergrad. It was like a 10-minute, 15-minute presentation and 10 minutes of Q&A. And I remember the person who was asking question was a very strict person. So my job was to basically tackle that person. So my mind was preparing a presentation, what he would ask, and I
Yeah,
would
I
try
think
to
that's
answer.
that's slightly different because
Yeah,
you're talking about a technical presentation that you have to be right.
yeah. But the
So,
thing is, like, the audience were very annoyed. Like they
well,
were
how do you know? How do you know that?
no, they kind of told me directly on my face. So
Well, hang on. Did they tell you or did you assume that?
I didn't assume they told me. Like
Oh, they
it was
told
a
you?
very boring presentation.
So they told you that they were annoyed?
Yeah, that was my early 20s, but I've
Well,
learned a lot from that
well, guess
experience.
what? I've been told I'm annoying too by some people. I don't give a shit. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, good on you. One of them was my ex, well, bugger it. I don't care.
Sorry, can I just throw in there? I mean, if you get criticized for you're being annoying, are we in kindergarten? What do you mean annoying? You don't like my line of argument? You don't like what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Can we
exactly.
discuss this?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
It's just a
dismiss it.
differing
You know,
opinion, that's all.
Dismiss it.
does anybody know the guy who, or seen the guy who invented banana ball? Jesse Croft, I think his name is. So
No.
banana ball is
No.
a type of baseball. It's very big. Have a look at it. It's in the US. It's massive. He started that with $270. He's a multi-millionaire now, probably a billionaire. And that's in just over 10 years, right? So he just went out there and he tried everything. Some things worked, some things didn't. His big thing was he tried 10 things. If one thing worked, then those 10 things were worth it. You see, we're not always going to win, folks. Guess what? Who said that? Perfectionist? Who's a perfectionist?
Me, I say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? Like, we can't be perfect. We can be excellent. We can aspire to excellence, but we can't aspire to perfection. I mean, if there was a perfect room and anybody walked in, it would be imperfect.
Mm.
So we just got to do the best that we can. So we've got to figure out how would these logical outcomes hurt you? Like if somebody said, "Oh, you're a bit of a fool," how is that actually going to hurt you? Are we old enough to be able to say, "Well, really, I don't care"? Oh, who's dropped off? Is that Eve dropped off? Uh, so if we'll go further. In what way would these logical outcomes actually hurt you? Would they break your arm? Would they snap your neck? Would they give you concussion like I had about 3 weeks ago from rugby? What would they actually do? How would they physically harm you? If you can't answer that question, then your fear doesn't exist. It's in here. All right. So let's go further. There are ways. Oh, he's back in. There are
I
ways.
have question. Like the last question, I feel that sometimes many of the, I used to have a lot of nervousness in school due to examinations. And what happens is after the examination, I get really, there's that physical fatigue. Sometimes that mental fear, it affects you
Yeah.
physically. And
Yeah. Well,
sometimes you
it
get up
does.
the next day morning with a lot of pain
Yeah.
in the body. And
It does. So what we have to do is we have to rationalize that fear. We have to say what is actually going to happen. And some of the work that you can do this week is what is actually going to happen if you say something that people are annoyed with. I mean, what is actually going to happen? I mean, if you're doing a speech in an audit to the IRD, then I can understand it a bit. But the reality is that if you speak, like us people at BNI, right? If we say something that's kind of like that, well, I mean, what are people going to say? Nothing. I want you to imagine you're in a room, okay? Could be in your lounge, could be a hall, could be whatever. And on one end of the hall or the room or wherever you are is a mirror. Now, my question to you is, could you speak in front of a mirror?
yeah,
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Well,
it's so.
I mean, you're standing in front of a mirror. Could you say, "Oh yeah, I'll do a speech in front of a mirror"? I mean, could anybody not do that?
I
Uh,
wouldn't necessarily remember the words.
It,
That's the
it
kind of thing.
doesn't. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Could you just say something in front of a mirror? I
Yeah.
mean, I would hope so.
yeah.
Anybody not?
I like talking to myself, so it works.
Yeah. Well, the danger sign there is getting an answer, Jerry. Uh, but the reality is that if we were practicing a speech, could we do it in front of a mirror?
Yes, why not?
Should be
Yes.
able to. Yeah, yeah.
Liana?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Lizelle?
Yes.
Jürgen?
Yeah.
Eve?
Yep.
No, there'd be no
Absolutely.
problem, would it? No problem
No,
at all.
it would only just be remembering words, but as
Well,
far as
Mm.
it doesn't
like
matter about,
stage
I
fright
mean,
or stuff,
just you could do an
it'll be
off-the-cuff
fine.
speech or whatever, you know. But you'd be fine. There'd be no fear, would there?
Uh,
In front of
unless,
a mirror?
yeah, no.
No.
Unless there was a deadline and you're realizing you weren't absorbing the information you needed,
You're
that
going
kind
one step further here, right? I mean, it was a simple question. Could you speak in front of a mirror?
Yes.
South
Please,
African.
please, you
I,
definitely can. I know that.
All right, you
Yes,
definitely can. Oh,
that's why.
thank you, Jürgen. Took the German to figure that out, right? Figure that out. Okay. Could you speak in front of a mirror? Yes.
yes,
You'd only see yourself, wouldn't you? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't see anybody else unless your wife or your husband would, or your partner would be sneaking up behind you going, "What the hell are you talking about?" Right? True.
Hmm.
Okay. Let's make this mirror a one-way mirror. Anybody seen one of those? Yeah. So
Yeah,
with a one-way mirror, you would speak to the mirror, but you'd only see yourself, right? Yeah.
yeah.
But outside, imagine there's an audience on the other side. So you would see yourself, but on the other side, there's an audience. Could you still speak?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know there's an audience, right?
Oh, if you don't know, yeah.
If you don't know, that's different.
Yeah. Not
Right.
knowing
Okay.
is
So you
It was
could
fine
speak.
until you said there was an audience.
No, but hang on, hang on. Hang on.
yeah.
I'm not telling you there's an audience. I just say, hey, can you just speak in front of a mirror?
Yeah,
You could.
yeah,
It wouldn't matter whether the audience was there, would it?
not at all.
Because you wouldn't know, right? Okay. How would you know that there's an audience if I didn't tell you there was an audience? You
You-
wouldn't know.
Reactions.
See, the problem isn't the audience. The audience is not the problem. If you could speak to a mirror and there was an audience you didn't know on the other side, the audience isn't affecting you, right?
Mm.
Because you don't know there's an audience, right?
Yes.
The audience could be 50,000 people. It wouldn't matter because you don't know there's an audience. So therefore, the audience is not the problem. All right? No matter how many people you speak to, the audience isn't the problem. What
Mm.
is the problem is in your perception of the audience. There's a difference. The audience isn't the problem. It's how you see the audience. For example, Jerry thought the audience was going to sleep. Liana, your confidence was altered, was changed by audience reaction. Lizelle, you were tripping up at the front, I think you said. Your perception of the audience and what they would think or say is all about perception. It's not about reality. Because in the one-way mirror, the reality is that you've got an audience. That's the reality. But the reality to you is you don't have an audience. Your perception of what an audience is and how they criticize is where the fear is.
Mm.
All right. So, not the audience. So, if that's the case, the audience can't do you harm. Do you know, in all my years of public speaking, and I've been speaking as an adult on stages for over 40 years, not once in all those times, that this includes live talkback radio, TV, stage, public speaking, all that. Not once have I had a nasty comment from any audience member. Not once. Now, that's not because I'm a good speaker. That's because audiences are like that. Now, I'm sure I've had people in the audience who thought I'm a right dick, but that's their right. Can it affect me? No, I can't, because I have enough confidence to say, well, I don't really give a shit. If we worry about what other people think, then we are giving them power. And quite frankly, I don't want to give anybody else the power over my feelings. I would rather have power over my own feelings. And the one-way mirror says that I have the power because I'm standing in front of a mirror and I'm speaking to that mirror, right? But giving the power to the audience says, well, I'm worried about what the audience thinks. And we can't do that, especially as business people. We're going to say, well, we have the power. We have the power. I have the power to change lives, and I do. Liana, you've got the power to change lives in what you do. You know, Eve, you can create this amazing business logo and the branding. You've got the power to change business. Lizelle and Jerry, you know, you've got the power to be able to speak and to be able to influence people. Jürgen, you've got the power to be able to give people a good time. We all have a power. But once we start to give that away, then we lose it. And I don't know, does anybody want to lose the power that they have? I don't. No. So
More power.
that's where it lies. Okay. The second way is called role playing. Now, if I asked you, we're in an audience of say, I don't know, 150 people, and I said, Lizelle, could you get up with Liana and just role play? So Lizelle, you're a mother in a family. Liana, you're the naughty sister, right? Could you get up there and have a bit of fun just between the two of
Yes,
you? Yeah,
yes, I
cool.
can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so Liana, if I said to you, "Hey, let's get up and say in front of 50 people, we're role playing here. You're the customer, I'm the salesperson. Let's give it a go, and we're just facing each other. We're role playing. Most
I
people
see, I
could,
struggle. I would
yeah,
struggle with that.
but would it be easier than getting up there and speaking one on one with, or like to an audience and by yourself?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Mm.
for most people it would. Why? Because they're playing the role of somebody. There's so many
Yeah.
actors. You'd be surprised. Like John Cleese, Ryan Atkinson were two that came to mind. They are both when they come out of their role. I mean, Ryan Atkinson was very quiet. He had
Yeah.
depression. Would you have ever known? John Cleese is the same.
Yeah.
If you read his biography, Connie Booth, you'll find out she's a really quiet person. So what they're doing is they're stepping into a role,
Mm.
and that's the important thing. Has anybody ever been on stage acting or drama or anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Improv.
yeah, so there's two ways of doing that. Well, there's three, but two main ways. When you come through the stage door, to go into the room, you become that role. The other one is when you get on stage, you become that role. Well, being a speaker is role playing, right? When I go on stage, and Jerry, you've seen me, and Lizelle, when I go on stage, I don't smile. I just walk up there. But what happens the moment I go on stage? What happens to my face? It's a big smile. And it doesn't matter how bad I'm feeling. I'll let you into a little secret. I gave a pretty inspirational speech that got me through to division 2 days after I tried suicide. Well, I got out of hospital after trying suicide. 2 days. I was
Wow.
feeling rotten. I didn't want to be there. But 2 days afterwards, I gave an inspirational speech that got me through to the division final.
Mm.
Why? because I role played. When I got on stage, I became a speaker. When I go on stage now, I become a speaker. I step into the role of a speaker. And I think that's what we've got to do. Remember that the audience, when you role playing, the audience, if they're really going to attack you, and I don't think they will, they're going to attack the role that you're playing, right? I mean, who's ever watched any movie? Gosh, you're
What?
like,
Any movie?
any
I was
movie,
waiting for you to
any
finish your
movie,
sentence because obviously we've
any
all
Lot of
watched the
movie,
movie,
movies.
dude.
Bit of
any
a movie
movie.
buff.
I say,
Any,
has anybody watch any movie where there's a baddie and a goodie?
Yes,
they're all like
Yes.
that
Anybody
plenty.
watch
somewhere.
Silence of the Lambs? Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs. Yes.
Sir Anthony Hopkins, is he a bad person?
What, in the movie? Yes. As
No,
an actor,
no,
no.
as an actor. No,
No,
he's
he's
not.
brilliant.
No.
He's
He's
absolutely
brilliant,
brilliant.
right?
He's brilliant.
So he
I think
plays
he's
the
brilliant
roles.
on and off the screen.
Yeah, he plays the role of somebody that we're designed to hate
Yeah. And
Yeah.
does
because
so
he's playing the role.
spectacularly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that's what we do as the speaker. When I go on stage, I become a speaker. So what we do so often, or what people do, I see them all the time, they just try and just be somebody within here and they don't step out and play the role. Does that mean that you're not authentic? Hell no. You're still authentic. But the fact
Okay.
is that you're stepping from this persona to that persona and you become the role. You know, there's an old saying, fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So fake it. Tell yourself, tell yourself all the time that you are a good speaker. You're faking it till you're making it. There's another thing about, you believe in, you tell a lie often enough, you believe in it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was going from homelessness, I want to show you something if I've got it handy. I probably do somewhere. But what I did was to somewhere, just excuse me while I try and find this amazing folder somewhere. I'll find it later. I'll show it to you next week. But what I did was I wrote down all these goals that are crazy goals, right? And I told myself I'd already achieved them. Damn it. And the more I told myself that, the more I believed it. And
Yeah.
all right. So the more you tell yourself that you're confident, the more you expose yourself to being confident.
Mm.
Damn it. Now that annoys me now, you know? I mean, this office isn't bad for a bloke, you know? I mean, oh, well, oh, here it is. Here it is. All right. So, oh, right. You see that? Right. Have a look at this. I put those everywhere in the caravan. So,
Yeah.
so I wrote all these down and I put them everywhere. So I was reading them all the time. Now, I can tell you that at first, look, I wanted a passive income while I'm developing that. I wanted to travel. I didn't know, how could I travel? I didn't have anything. I wanted St. Heliers years. Well, I've got over with years now. I wanted a home. I wanted financial security. These were crazy. And I told myself these lies all the time. So if you tell yourself that you're a confident speaker, you will start to believe it, the same as anything. So you step into that role of confident speaker. Doesn't she look confident? I mean, look at her. Now, the next one, I love this. All right. Now, if you have a look in Google at the Chinombro wall, guess what? You won't find it. Why? Because I made it up. Yeah.
It's a good name.
Chinombro,
Yeah.
eh? You
Sounds
like,
good. Sounds
yeah, yeah.
believable. I was almost expecting,
Yeah.
cool, Google it and you'll find that stucco
Well,
wall.
you might because I made it up, but it's not in the dictionary yet, right? It's actually, is it Scargo, the universal language or whatever it's called, um, that someone came up with. So that means the people wall, I believe. So it's Chinombro wall. I reckon that's a pretty good word, actually. We could, you know, right. So how many people, let
Mhm.
me ask you this question, all right? And it's in your workbook. how many people, if you were at a party, let's say you go to a party and you got all your mates there and you're having a barbie and, whatever, you're having a glass of vino or whatever your tipple is, right? Uh, you're having one of those. How many people could you talk to? Could you talk to two of your friends?
Absolutely.
Yeah, who couldn't? Two friends? Liana, could you talk to just two friends?
Yeah, I can talk to friends. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And Lizelle?
Yes,
No
definitely.
problem. Okay, what about three?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
it'd still be okay. Three friends, yeah? Would anybody not be okay with three friends? What about four? Could you,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, you could speak to a group of four
Yeah.
people that were your mates. Yeah, anybody not?
Yeah, easy.
Anybody? Lizelle, could you?
Yep.
What about five? Anybody not speak to five friends?
Yeah.
Anybody
I
not?
don't think the amount of people that would deter me if they're my friends.
Okay, if they're
Mm.
friends, could you speak to 20 of your friends at once?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Hang on, hang
When
on. Just hear me out with this. Diana,
okay.
could you speak to 20 friends?
Yeah.
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 Lizelle,
Yes.
Jürgen, Jerry.
I'm
What about
okay.
50? What about 50 of your friends?
Okay.
Anybody not be able to do that? 50 friends. So maybe it's a wedding, maybe unfortunately it was a funeral. Could you speak to 50 of your friends?
I think I'll get emotionally. I think I'll get drained after talking to 50.
Okay, so the number of people that you could talk with, friends, is the first Chinombo wall, right? So if you could speak to, say, 20, but not 25, 20 would be your Chinombo wall number, the Chinombo number. Does that make sense? Now, the next one is you're at a party, right? And there's people you don't know there, right? So you just been invited along. Maybe it's a work party, maybe whatever, but you don't know them. Could you
Yeah.
speak to one person?
Are we talking socially here? Like
It
I
could
don't
be
have to sell them anything or tell them
no, you
anything.
don't have
It's
to
just a
sell them
social.
anything or do
I
anything. Could you? Yeah, you
yeah.
could.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody not speak to some stranger?
Kind
I
of
No.
have a
hard.
question.
Hang on, Jerry. Just let me go through this. All right, mate.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So could anybody not speak to a stranger?
No.
Just talk to them. Say, hey, g'day, mate. How you going? Oh, the sun's out.
Yeah, I struggle with that.
You struggle with that? Okay. Right. So one would be your Tonombro wall. Okay. Anybody else, name and number? Would you be able to speak to three strangers? Anybody? Yeah.
Yeah.
Liana, you do because you speak at
Oh,
BNO.
Yeah.
Lizelle, could
hmm.
you speak to three strangers? I know you do because you're a Toastmaster. Eve,
Yeah.
you do because you're in
Yeah.
BNI. You all do. You all do already. So the
Yeah.
answer should be yes.
Yeah.
All right. What about 10 people? Now, I know, Liana, you do. I know, Jerry, you do. Lizelle, you do. Jürgen and Eve, you all do.
Yeah.
Could you speak easily to 10 people that you didn't know?
Yep.
Depends
Yeah.
on the situation.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well,
Social though.
I'm just talking general. It could be social. Think about a situation that you might be in. Let's say it's social. Let's keep it social.
Yeah.
Because if it was a general networking, like the bigger general
Yeah.
networking events where you go and talk to people, then and you have to go up to people and talk, then I would struggle with that.
Okay.
For me, it is basically the content of the conversation more than the type of
Okay.
people. It's
Mm.
not friend or strangers.
Okay. This is a general number. Okay. So we don't want to get into semantics or exact science here. What we're
Yeah.
talking about is if you've got friends, somebody says, "Oh, how you doing? Good. Could you talk to 20 people?"
I think 20 people is good. I think more than 20 or
Okay, all
50,
right. Let's
not
let's
a
take
problem.
let's take Jerry. So 20 people would be the limit.
Yeah, 25 max.
So 25 would be the limit.
Yeah.
Okay, what say one person came in 26?
Then maybe my attention span
So,
would move
okay.
away and then
So
as
that one person would make a difference.
yeah, I think the physiological part.
Just think
I think
about what we're okay. Just think about what we're saying here, right? So if we're okay speaking to 10 people or 20 people or however many there is, one person is going to come into the audience and they're going to make a difference. Is that what we're saying? Like Leona, you speak really lovely to a BNI chapter of 20 people. Let's say that was 50 people. Could you still do it?
Um,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I have spoken to, yeah.
Okay. What say it was 100 people?
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty
Yeah.
nervous about that.
That would be low. What say it would be 120? Would you say yes or no?
No.
You say no. Okay, so 100 people you could just manage it, yeah?
Oh, I don't know if I could do 100, no.
Okay, what about 60?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
I
not?
don't.
Okay. So
I
what I
think
want you to
50 would probably be.
okay, so here's an exercise I want you to do this week. I want you to tell me how many people that you could speak to that you didn't know. And it's in your workbook, right? Social situation people that you do know, situation people you don't know, and then at a meeting, you have work meetings, right? How many people could you talk to? Try and come up with a number. Rationalize. It's all about rationalization. See, would one more person make a difference? Just one. Are you going to give them that power? You got to tear down the wall. As who was it said that Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan, tear down the wall. It just gets smaller. Bang, it's gone. See, butterflies are something that is irrational. But you've got to rationalize it for yourself. So there's some tools that you can use. I mean, obviously, this is quite a short, masterclass, and I'm happy to go into more of that, with the one-on-one sort of thing. But if you rationalize the whole argument why you fear public speaking, it comes down to harm caused.
Okay.
And if we can't rationalize that harm, if we can't name it and say the bad things that would happen to us, then there's no reason to fear. Okay.
Mm.
That it's not going to happen just straight away. Right. So the next is speech types. So we're talking about the purpose. So that's the fear. So we're talking about, we're probably going to go over time here if anybody doesn't mind. So speech types, we're talking about the purpose of a speech. Every speech has a purpose, right? We know that from Toastmasters, don't we? And the purpose of BNI speeches are what? To promote our business and to get, leads,
Yeah.
correct? So we've got purpose. Right. So let's just go through the purpose. So the first one is to inform. Now, in your workbooks, it's got the titles to inform. We are communicating something to somebody. We could explain something. We could describe something to someone. And we can define something. So in BNI, definition of what we do. We explain what we do. We could entertain. So the next one is entertain. So you've got informational speeches, entertainment speeches. Well, they're pretty obvious. You could narrate something. You could read something. You could have a humorous speech, which is not a set of one-liners, but it's something that gets people lighthearted and laughing. and you could have an interest speech. Anybody here have a hobby or a sport? Yeah. So if you were called, for example, to do a speech at your club, whatever you do, then you could do that. And that's an interest speech. So you're entertaining as well as informing. Then you've got persuasive speech. Now, and anybody in business, a persuasive speech is quite handy because that's what sales are. Selling is persuading a person to buy. And I haven't gone into the inspire to buy, not push to sell yet, but that's for another time. So we could sell, we could debate. I love debating. Oh my God, I love debating. Seriously. Man, anybody wants to see some good debating, yeah, search up YouTube, the Oxford debates. Man, they're good.
I watch them.
Yeah, they are
They're
awesome.
pretty good. They're pretty
Yeah.
good.
And then we inspire. Now, I haven't put motivation. Notice I've never put motivation there. I'll tell you what, motivational speeches, I don't want to ever do a motivational speech. I will not do a motivational speech. Why? Because motivation has to come from within. Whatever we do, we can't be motivated by outside sources. Because if you're a motivational speaker, the moment you leave the stage, motivation ends. And when we do a speech, if we're trying to motivate people to buy, then they turn off because the moment we stop is the moment that they lose interest. But if we inspire, then we create motivation within that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of like introducing a spark,
Yeah, that's
really.
right. So,
Like
yeah,
starting their own imagination to actually sell it themselves, really.
exactly. And if you think about like Reno, for example,
Yeah.
now when I started work, I did a bit of work with him. So he was selling his garden services. They only use selling your books. You know, Jürgen, we've worked at this too. You know, you're selling something, you've got a product, but what's in it for them? Are you going to inspire them to buy the book? Are you going to inspire them to get on the jet ski? Because that's different from motivating a person or to push somebody or to persuade somebody, because that creates motivation. The next type of speech is demonstrate. So we're demonstrating something to somebody. We're demonstrating how things could be used. We're demonstrating, for example, a product. We're demonstrating that, in your case, a service, even in your case.
Yeah.
We're demonstrating an idea. So these are the different types of speech types. Now, in your book, it says, and do this, you know, in your own time, work out what kind of speeches that you give. It BNI speeches, Toastmaster speeches, whatever they are, work out 3 types of speeches that you have and what type of speeches they are. All right? Because there's a number of other things that go with that. So work out what are the speeches that you need to do. And these are some of the things that we'll cover in our hour as well. So give your 3 speech scenarios. Okay. Identify your purpose. I remember when I first got through to the national final, it was a national back then. The district was all over New Zealand. And my speech coach then hammered home purpose to me. She absolutely hammered home. Well, I got through to division, I've been through division international 5 times now. And every single time it's all about purpose. Next year, I want to win the World Championship of Public Speaking. Now, I've got 5 coaches now, and one of them is just solely on purpose. That's her job. Keep me on purpose. You've got to keep on purpose. So, what is the purpose of when you present, Leanna? It's to inspire people to be interested in your product. So you're not pushing it. You're not desperate. You're inspiring them. You need to figure the purpose out. So next thing we look at speech structure. Now, this is really important. Your speech has to have structure. Now, this is our 10-minute speeches, for example, in BNI, Jerry and Lizelle, your 7-minute speeches in Toastmasters. You have to have a structure of a speech. Can anybody name the 3 parts?
Introduction, body, conclusion.
Yeah. Broadly speaking, you got the introduction, the body, the conclusion. All right. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. You've got an introduction. So the first thing about an introduction, you've got to have impact.
Yeah.
If you're doing a 10-minute speech, I've seen so many people at BNI start off talking about their dog. Really? Is that going to impact? Am I interested in, I mean, it might be a beautiful dog. I know yours is, Jürgen, but am I really going to be impacted by that? Jerry, you'll know, and Lizelle know that last year I won the Table Topics final, so that was the highest you could get. But wait, there's more. I got second in the World Challenge for Table Topics, and the way I did that was I had templates that I dropped the subject into, and one of them was an impact statement. So a question, you could ask a question. Who here, hands up, if you fear public speaking. So what I'm doing is I'm engaging the audience. So you've got an impact opening. Or I could say, hey, look out there. What do you see? Nothing. That's right. You know, it's an impact statement. Next thing you do is acknowledgement. Now, that's not necessary in a BNI 1 minute. All right. And it's not really necessary in a lot of speeches, but acknowledgement could be, for example, if you're in a public meeting and the mayor's there, Mr. Mayor, and Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, etc., etc. Acknowledge people that are there. What's everybody's favorite word?
Me.
What's your favorite word, Ed?
I was just thinking what other people like to hear about
No,
themselves.
Liana, come on, you guys, you should know. It's your
What's my
name.
favorite word?
It's your name.
Oh,
Name's your favorite word. When other people mention your name, like if I
yeah,
said,
very powerful.
hey, you, come over here,
Yep.
and then compare it. Liana, would you mind coming over here? What sounds better?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Second
Yeah.
one.
That's right. So your acknowledgement is important. The next thing is signpost. So what are you going to be talking about? Well, say in a 10-minute, I'm going to touch on this, this, and this. So you've laid out your speech so that people know what to expect and when to expect it. Now, in a humorous speech, that's not so much needed. But any other type of speech, really, I'm going to be talking about the advantages of this, the challenges of this, and how you could implement it, in a product. Liana, for yours, I'm going to be talking about the need to keep beautiful records. I'm going to be talking to you about how we can do that. And then I'm going to be talking about how we can work together to achieve that. You see, you're signposting that speech. Eve, I heard you, you talk about the cars. Imagine we're going to be talking about driving down the road here when you're commuting. We're going to be talking about how you can capture their attention. So you're signposting, not necessarily in all cases, but signposting is a good thing. And then the transitions. People call them segues as well, different from the little scooter things. But segues or transitions are the way that you flow into the next part of your speech. So if I was talking about 3 points, saying music, and I was saying, well, the drums keep the beat and they also create the rhythm. Guitar is really good. And I think the guitar can be this, that. Well, there's no transition. But if I said something like the drums can carry the beat, and this is intermingled exclusively with the bass, and they create. So what I've done is I've segued, I've transitioned from one to another. So I've gone talking a bit from drums to bass. Make sense? So, all right. Now, this is, there's a lot of information here. And again, we can clarify a lot of that in the hour. The next thing, you're right, the body of the speech. Now, you know what? People make, this is the biggest mistake that I see in public speaking, bar none. Number one problem is that they mention too many points, right? Let me tell you something. In public speaking, the rule of three is vital. In anything like alliteration, like rhyming, like repetition, and especially with your points, don't have more than 3 points. People basically are stupid. They can't remember more than 3 points. If you try and fit in 3 points to any speech, yes, that's fine. But sometimes bring it back to 1 point. Why should somebody utilize your service, Liana? Why? 3 reasons. Come up with 3 reasons in your 10 minute. On your 1 minute, well, you could, Jerry and Lizelle, in the table topics, to win a competition, you have to still come up with 3 points. You've got to have an opening, and all this is happening like you get given a subject, Liana, even Jürgen, you get given a subject in table topics, and within 2 to 3 seconds, you've got to make a 2-minute speech, 2.5-minute speech with all these points. And it's really good for discipline, let me tell you. Next thing is the body. Demonstrate how something will happen. Use your 3 points to demonstrate. Demonstrate your book. Demonstrate your branding. Demonstrate what people would look like on your jet ski. Demonstrate. Next one is to inform. Tell people about what you're doing. Now, obviously, in a 10-minute speech, you're going to use combinations of this sort of thing. And then again, you've got a transition. So you've got transitions in between them. Now, one of the favorite Toastmaster things is saying, in conclusion, I think that's really kind of messy, but in competition Toastmasters, it is necessary. And you could use it at the end of your points. So in conclusion, this is why we need to talk about preserving your past. Yeah? Imagine that. You're preserving their past, Liana. You're a preservation specialist. Next thing is the conclusion. So you summarize what you've said. Again, this is where I see mistakes being made. What happens in the conclusion, the summary especially, is they introduce a new point. Well, you've just had the body of the speech. You've got 3 points, stand on 3 points. Don't introduce something more in the summary. Summarize what you've said. So if you're writing a speech, what you're doing is you're summarizing what you've already said and reinforce, repeat. And this is important. Call to action. Let's have a talk about your needs. And in a speech, an exit mantra, I call it. Could be a tagline too. I'll tell you who's really good at that is our plumber. Remember what he says, Eve?
Your number 2 will
Twos
always
are
be my number 1.
number ones. Yeah, and you will always remember that. He's brilliant.
Yeah, that's very good.
So that's our exit mantra. Speech preparation. Boy, we're going to run over time here. But anyway, speech preparation. The 3 aspects of the speech preparation. The first is prior to the speech. What do we do, right? There's a number of things. Timing. How long are you going to talk to? Now, in BNI, oh my God, how many people go over their minute?
Yeah, good
Really?
many.
How many people go over their 10 minutes? Really? People turn off. If you're meant to speak for a minute and you speak for 2 minutes, people turn off. Jerry and Lizelle, you know damn well that if you speak over 7:30 in a contest, guess what? You get disqualified. I did that on purpose about 3 weeks ago because I thought my delivery was crap. And I thought, no, I don't want to get second or third, so I'll just go overtime and disqualify myself. It's that critical. So timing pre-speech. What are you going to do pre-speech? Now, this is more allied to a keynote or something like that. What am I going to do pre-speech? Am I going to sit with the people? Am I going to, for example, mingle, or am I going to just walk in as a person when I'm going to speak? So that's more that. The length of the speech. How long is their speech? Are we going to keep in time? For goodness sake, practice. And the biggest advice I would give you with timing is this. Jerry Lizelle, this is really important for you. Practice your speech without timing lights or without looking at your timing. Just practice it and record it. So you're recording your speech and then see how long it took. So if you're doing your 10 minutes at BNI, you record your speech and then see how long it took. Don't look at the clock when you do it. And the more times you do that, the more times you'll be within time. Practice your 1 minute, practice your 2 minute table topics. Get somebody to give you a subject, speak for what you think is 2 minutes, what you think is 1 minute, what you think is 10 minutes. Practice that and then see how long it actually took. Make sense? I do that with all my competition speeches. So 7 minute speeches, I will typically do that many, many times. And I can normally do a speech within 3 to 6 or 7 seconds every single time, every time I do it. And I simulate different audience sizes. I have things called wedges, but that's more advanced stuff that I fit in. But anyway. So question time. Are you going to have questions? Oh my gosh, in BNI, how many times do we finish our 10 minutes or people finish their 10 minutes and all of a sudden there's long-winded questions? You've got a lot of time. And post-speech, well, again, it's more keynotes, it's more, from what I'm doing. What do you do post-speech? Do you mingle with people? What do you do? The next thing is writing. How do we write a speech? Now, when I'm saying writing, one of the things I've left out here, but which is important, is we also can record it. So how you write it depends on your style. So some people, what they'll do, myself included sometimes, I'll just ramble on for 7 or 8 minutes and will dictate it, and out comes the writing, right? And then I'll refine it. One thing I never want to see any of you is using AI to write a speech. Oh my goodness. If you're going to use AI, do it for writing, that's fair enough. Do it for a descriptive, that's fair enough. But please don't use AI for speaking. It just really, I can spot it a mile off. Okay. So what style are you? Are you really a feminine type of style? Do you want to get the soft thing across? What style, for example, Liana, with your books? It's it's an empathetic style. Eve, with yours, it's a direct, it's a business style. The different styles. Now, here's a couple of ways that you could write a speech. Now, first is top down. All right. So what you do with the top down, and Toastmasters, this is great. So you write screeds, heaps and heaps of information, probably enough for about a half-hour speech for a 7 minute, or for 1 minute, it might be 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, it could be 20, 30, 40 minutes, right? Just write screeds. Then what we do is take away everything and we strip it of stuff that doesn't add to the purpose of the speech. So that's your top-down method. So when you're writing a speech, and between now and next week, you'll write a speech, you can try the top down. So heaps and heaps of information, cut it out. The other way is bottom up. So what you can do is just a brief outline, what do you want to get across? What are the 3 points that you want to get across? What is the conclusion that you want to draw? What is the call to action? And then add things to make it into a 7 minute, 10 minute, 1 minute, 2 minute speech. All right. So when I'm doing a keynote, my keynotes are 40 minutes to an hour, and most of those an hour and a half. So what I'll do typically is write heaps and heaps of stuff, enough for probably 2 hours, and then I'll cut it down. And then I do the other way, I do bottom up and see where the two meet. So yeah, it's just different ways. The other one is brainstorming. A lot of people use this. Anybody heard of mind maps? Yeah, a lot of people use this where they've got a central idea, then they just mind map or brainstorm different ideas. And that's another way of doing it. You know, me, I go all confused. I have ADHD, so it goes all over the place. But if you're the type of person who comes up with ideas and can focus on those ideas, having the central ideas and then giving other ideas are great. One thing I do is if I'm at conferences and that, what I do is with my notes, I put this little circle idea. And so I just write idea, and you might be at a conference, you might be learning something, but then you'll have an idea. Oh, there's an idea there. Don't let it go. Write idea in a circle around it. You might listen to a speech. You might think, wow, there's an idea. Just write it down. So that's brainstorming. The next one is technical. How are you going to hold the technical? Audio, it's not so much of a problem with you guys. Visual is, my God.
Breathe. You're like me in badly packed dishwashers, dude.
Oh, Jesus. I'll tell you, I did some work for World Vision down in Cambodia a few years ago. And you want to see bad PowerPoints? Oh my God, it was the worst. We were in a little village on the border of Vietnam and Cambodia, which was destitute. I mean, women were dying at the rate of 70% at childbirth. Children were unlikely to reach the age of 5,
Yeah.
one in 5 reached the age of 5. There were floods through it. There was malaria. It was really bad, no sanitation. And we sat in 40-degree heat looking at this bloody PowerPoint that basically said everything the speaker was saying. I've never seen a worse PowerPoint, but we've all seen it. Let the
Some of us
PowerPoint.
have done it.
I mean,
Oh,
that was
yeah,
my first
yeah.
PowerPoint
Cut
presentation. It
out
was,
the information. Now, I know I've got a lot of words there, but you notice how I'm doing it. I'm introducing each word, right?
Yeah.
And each word is fresh.
Yeah, you're not allowing the audience to go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if you do, guess what? They're going to read
They
ahead.
do it. Yeah.
If you got all your pictures of your dogs and your cats and your aunties and your uncles and your grandmother's grave or something, they're just going to get, whatever. And
Yeah.
next thing is computer, for goodness sake, check your IT. I always carry a spare. I always. And stage. Where's your speaking area? Now, interesting, in BNI, why
Yeah.
don't we just stand in one place?
Why don't we?
Why do we?
Oh, like
Because,
as in, why don't we move around the room?
well,
Yeah,
do you remember the 10-minute one I gave?
Uh,
I walked down the sides.
yeah, yeah. You moved quite a bit. Mariska does that. Jürgen did a whole bunch. Remember when you
Yeah,
guested? Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely. It changes the dynamic. It's really
it
good.
does. And we know on the Toastmaster stage, for example, use your stage.
Mm.
Okay. The stage is there. It's not a tiny little 1 meter platform. It's a bloody stage. Now you've got different zones to a stage, and there are actually theoretical zones, but we haven't got time. Now the power of words, we're getting behind. Power of words is everything said. Everything said. So we've got things like word choice. What words are we going to use? Hey, listen, the number one website for me is the thesaurus. I love the thesaurus. right? When we're writing a speech. When I'm writing my book, my new book called Bullshit, it's called Bullshit. In other words, don't believe the bullshit that your mind tells you, right? Word choice is really important. So try and think of new words. Anybody use Grammarly?
No, but it irritates the hell out of me
It can do.
on YouTube.
Yeah, it can
I
do.
stopped using it a long time ago.
It can be good. Word power, filler words. Toastmasters has this fixation on filler words. Guess what? In the real world, unless you're saying all the time, if I say, oh yeah, that could be true. In Toastmasters, I'll be picked up by it. In professional speaking, there's a lot of not too many, but they can be used effectively. So don't focus on that. Even at BNI, it's like people really focus, oh, too many arms, too many R's, too many butts. Hey, you know, whatever. Try and find it with alternates. One thing, a couple of things for filler words that you might try is pauses, but the other one is think of the word om, O-M. So it's the OM theory, the om. You won't find it anywhere because I made that one up as well. It's in my book, right? So is that Indian chant, right? So you
Yes.
get in your mind and you're about to say if you practice it enough, you'll start to say and you think, how that's bloody stupid, and you won't say it. And it works. It works really well.
Mm.
And then the length of your words, like sometimes we use complex words to try and keep it simple. And I'm just racing through this. There's so much that
Guilty of that.
involved. Arrangement of words. How do we arrange our words in a simple explanation? I used to teach antique restoration, and one of the things that I had to explain the difference was between a polish and a coating. And so, if you explain it in technical terms, the polish is something that creates a luster and it blah 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 whatever, and a coating is something that is hard and fast and therefore will protect the wood. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. What I said was, well, a polish is like fibers of the wood sticking up like that and it goes down into the wood, so your wear is on the wood. A coating is on top, so therefore it protects those fibers of the wood. Pretty bloody easy for people to understand. Think about your sentences. Keep them short. Alliteration. Anybody want to try alliteration?
Sure.
Okay.
Not yet, thanks.
Okay. Alliteration.
A lengthy long time he stumbled
Exactly.
over
A
his
lengthy long time.
lovely
Yeah.
long,
Lovely
something like that.
long legs she has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's alliteration. Rhyming. We can try and rhyme and we can try and rhythm. So, have a bit of rhythm in your speaking. Have a bit of rhythm in your speaking. Think about what you're going to do there. All these things will add to your message. Style. What kind of style are you? So a natural style. If I'm speaking naturally to you, I'd say, "Hey, how's it going? Pretty good. Hey, Eve, how you going, mate?" But is that a speaking style? Mm-mm. I was MC at a wedding early this year. I think it was in January. And the bridal party was there, and when I'm an MC, I say, "Hey, everybody, the bride and groom are coming out. Let's put your hands together for them," right? You put on your MC voice. So one person from the bridal table, I think the bridesmaid said to me, "How do you talk at home?" I said, "Well, I say, darling, what would you like for dinner tonight? Would you like a Chinese meal or maybe?" Just maybe. Not like Italiano. I said, no, just talk to me. Oh,
It'll be a laugh.
oh, it was, yeah. The character. Okay, so you step into a character.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to explain the interaction. So a customer said to me, why should I pay that for your book? Blah, blah, blah. So you can step into character. Audience. What kind of audience do you have matters. If you've got a audience, I'm doing a thing at a retirement village, I think, next year. obviously my speaking style is not going to be, well, everybody, what kind of rap music do you like? Mind you, some of them probably do, don't they? The purpose. What is the purpose of you, what you're trying to get across? Silence. Oh my God, I love silence. Really? Pauses are poignant. Pause. I don't think Lizelle or Jared, you saw it, but I did a 7-minute silent speech once. I typically, if you see me speak, I'll get up on stage and I'll be silent for about 30 seconds. And I just look around and go, what do we got here? You know? And silence is golden. One thing, I hear people do this all the time. And they'll say a question like, oh, so what do you think? Oh, I think, and they won't let people answer it. So, oh, what do you think? Well, it could be like this. You see, give people time to answer a question. So if you're presenting, the legacy books, have you ever thought about what might happen if you pass away with no legacy? Silence. They're thinking, what would it be like? Then you speak. So silence prior to you speaking can work. Pauses, questions. Oh my gosh, when you ask a question, like I just said, and post. What do you do when you stop your speech? We have this thing in Toastmasters. We say, "Oh, contest chair," and we walk up. God, drives me up the wall. No, and what I like to do is just go like that, silent. Vocal variety, everything, how we say it. Oh, here's an exercise for you. Pitch. So I want everybody to just try this. All right. So we're going to go violin, right? Violin, violin, viola, cello, double
Cello,
bass.
double bass.
The four stringed instruments of an orchestra, right? Violin, viola, cello,
Violin,
double
viola, cello,
bass.
double bass.
All right, they include vocal warm-ups. Does anybody here do a vocal warm-up?
Sort of do, yeah. I know the power of it. I've done it in the car. It really does help.
Before I gave that keynote at that conference, 2 weeks ago, was it? I was outside doing my vocal warm-up, so I typically do things like this. Things like
Yeah,
that.
like crazy stuff.
And honestly, I couldn't find anywhere private to do it, so I went outside and did it. And there's some students walking past. Yeah, I'm just waiting
Come
for
up to you to go,
waiting for the
God.
ambulance and the white, the people with white,
Yeah.
vocal warm-ups. Pitch, pace. How fast do we say things? How fast? How fast? How fast do we say things? If we're excited, we say things faster. If we're not, we don't. Power. That is, all right, it's not volume. Power is in how we use our voice or how we use our voice. They're two different powers. It can be tone. How do we use our voice? How do we use our voice? We got pause. We've already looked at that. We got projection. Here's a little exercise, and I might leave it at that and pick it up next week. So I'll just go through these high, low, natural exercises, okay? And we'll pick this up next week. But let's have a look at projection. Okay. Breathing, 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 breathing. When we project our voice, we use our diaphragm. And Eve, we went through that in 1 hour. Jürgen, we've covered that too. Use your diaphragm. Breathe in and breathe out, using your stomach muscles to breathe out. The exercise that I want you to do this week is simple. 2 people get 10 meters apart. All right. And one person reads something, they can just read something or recite something or say something, and the other person needs to hear you without fail, without you shouting. So project your voice using your diaphragm. Push your air from your diaphragm out through your voice box, out through your mouth. Make sure that you are pronouncing and using your mouth and your tongue and your voice box sufficiently enough so that it's coming straight out. Mistake that I see people make is when they talk, their head goes back like this. Liana, I've seen you do this. So what you try, well, Ben up front, and Jerry, I've seen you do this. So when you speak, remember what I talked about at the conference. Bring your chin forward slightly, right? Now I'll show you what I mean. Now I'm not going to increase my volume, decrease my volume intentionally. All right. So what I'm going to do, hi, my name's Peter Chatteris, and I am a speaker. I am a speaker. I'm Peter Chatteris. What sounds louder?
Second.
When I've got my head forward, right?
Yeah.
So once upon a time in the land of Nod, there was an inspector called Huntsville Clod, right? Now my microphone's over there, so it's not changing, but I'm absolutely straightening my throat.
Straightening
Really
the pipe.
important, really, really important. Okay. And you don't have to, stick your neck out like that. Just try and make sure that throat is straight. So once you've done 10 meters, do 20. Once you've done 20, do 30. See where that limit is. And your job is to increase that limit. All right. And my record's about 120 meters. And an opera singer will do that. Right. So you try and get yourself up to maybe 30 or 40 meters. Okay. It's going to take some practice, but you can do it. It's not, it's not as hard as you sound. Once you get that happening and your diaphragmatic breathing happening, you'll find it's pretty good. Body language, I'm going to leave it to next week. Okay. Uh, we've covered one shitload of material tonight. I mean, normally this is a 7-day course of 2 hours a day, right? So this is really condensed, but I want to hear some questions. Anybody got some questions? You've been,
Oh, wow.
you've been loaded with information, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things. It's an absolute box of goodies. It's like a fishing tackle box with like 12 levels of shiny stuff.
You ain't seen
It's
nothing yet, man.
incredible. But I think what I really like about it is the breakdown into uh visible chunks of what it is, because I think a lot of us are overcome by the physical nature of talking.
Mm,
Like there is a way to do it like properly. It's kind of like, like running. You've
mm.
got two legs, but it doesn't mean you're going to run a sprint real fast. You
That's
have
right.
you have to warm up, you have to use the right muscles, you
Mm.
have to, your knees have got to be a certain direction, all that kind of stuff. And you've illustrated that really well.
If
Um,
I'm doing a professional keynote to a large conference, say 300 or 400 people, then I will spend about half an hour. I'll even do things like stretches because, if it's a big stage, I'm running from one side to the other. One of my keynotes includes me stripping down to my rugby gear. So I'm actually in a suit and I say I'm a stripper and a hooker. You don't believe me? I'll perform that. It's at the end of the speech, I'll run up to a table, stand on a table, get people to pull my belt off, all that sort of thing. It's hilarious, but you got to warm up for it.
mhm.
You don't want to be running up to a table, try and get on a table and fall over and break your leg. Trust me, it's not too good. I have fallen over on stage, skinned my knee and done all kinds of things, but yeah, you're right. Anybody else got any comments, questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I mean, o over the years, I kind of understood that I'm a very throaty speaker.
Yep.
I use a lot of throat,
Mm.
and sometimes I get a lot of throat issues. And I
Yep.
think recently I stopped drinking dairy products before a speech
Okay.
because
So Jerry, with you, I noticed that your neck goes back. Now you got a very long neck. So you've actually got an advantage. So if you bring your head or your your chin up slightly, and then get your head forward a little bit. Right. So imagine, a peacock, they go like that. Okay, so you don't have to be pronounced out like that, but just try and keep that more straight. Yeah, not
Yeah.
as much. Yeah, now just breathe and relax. Okay. And just, do this with your neck, just around like that. I do a lot of that before I'm going on stage. Just loosen it up. I'm going to stop sharing here so I can. All right. Yeah, so try and do a lot of that, relax those muscles, stretch the muscles, you know, get them down, and then practice your projection, because your projection, your throat talking, like you said. So try and practice that projection, and by doing that, try and lower your voice slightly. You got a high voice, that's great, but I've also talked with you one-on-one, and your voice lowers. So I think that some of that's nerves. And when we're nervous, we tend to tense up, right? And it tenses up our throats as well,
Yeah.
right? Because we talk about tense muscles. You're not going to go out and play a rugby game if you're all tense like that. You're going to stretch, and essentially, speaking uses your muscles, and therefore you've got to warm up with that. Any other comments, questions?
Mm.
I've got a comment.
Yeah,
Um, Same with Jerry. I am looking forward to the speeches next week. And one thing that I think I need to work on as well is the diaphragm breathing.
yeah,
Like I
Yeah.
can feel that I'm not speaking from a diaphragm. And especially when I'm in noisy environments in a restaurant where it's very busy, I
Mm.
find that people find it hard to hear me.
yeah.
And then some people I find you can hear them so clearly in a lot of noise. So I
Okay, now
think that should maybe,
I just want to stop you there.
yes.
So what I want you to do is sit up a little bit straighter. Okay. Now, tell me the same thing again. This time, just bring your chin forward a little bit.
Oh,
Okay.
did I sound nasally when I
Ah,
said
that
it
you
before?
hear that? Okay. Does anybody hear the difference
Yeah,
immediately?
I hear it straight
You
away.
hear it straight away?
Yeah. It's a lower frequency,
It's
but
a
it's
exactly.
more penetrating.
Exactly, because what happens is when we pull our throat back like this, our our voice box has been restricted, so it's a higher frequency. Okay, now there was a hell of a difference, Lizelle, just in doing that. So now tell me the same thing. You're drawing back. Just let it come out. Okay, tell me the same thing again.
That I think my speech will be better if I speak from my diaphragm and focus on my breathing. And
Okay, bring it
yeah,
forward. You're going back. Bring it forward. Keep speaking.
I don't know what
Mm.
else to say. What else? Oh, the other thing that I would like to work on is my eye contact because I tend to look to the corners and everywhere else
Yeah,
except the screen. So those are the two things that I really would like to
yeah.
work on.
So eye contact's a big one. I love eye
Yeah.
contact, man. It's a bit hard on video, but what I love doing is I'll spy somebody in the audience, and then I'll turn my head, keeping the eye on them, and then turn my eyes.
You know what I find really hard
Mm.
is when I'm thinking to look someone in the eye and I'm thinking, I think, and then I
Yeah,
look up. That's the thing. And then when I
Mm.
know what to say,
natural.
then I look
Mm.
back at,
Well, that's interesting
Yeah.
because remember I picked up on you, Eve. I said you're thinking because you're looking up like that.
Yeah, that's your normal top
That's your
left,
normal
I
stance.
think,
Yeah.
is the way
When
of
you're thinking, you're
when
looking
you're
up.
thinking.
You're trying to
Yeah.
say, God help me. I need something. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So Lizelle, with you, you need to just now you notice the difference, right? With Lizelle,
Yeah.
as soon as her head came forward, Lizelle, there was a hell of a difference.
yeah,
Is
I'll
there
work on that.
Hmm.
is there a physical exercise that one could do, like to activate the diaphragm on
Yeah.
a subconscious level? Because I
Yeah.
think, like, you let sit there and you go, oh, okay, use your diaphragm, and then you forget your speech.
Well, what
But
you did was you drew back. Okay, yes, there is. So
okay,
there's a couple of things that you can do. First of all, is just diaphragmatic breathing. So what you're doing is you're breathing in, your chin's up like that, and then you're breathing out slowly. But the one I really like is you're breathing in and then you're getting a note. So say, for example, And then you can okay, your neck is up and back. So just bring it forward a bit. So what you're doing is you're just maintaining a note, right? The next exercise is increasing the projection or some people call it volume, but it's not, it's a level. So and try and keep it on the same note. The next thing you
Yeah.
do is up and down. So and down, and try and maintain that for as long as you can, right? And if you
Yeah.
diaphragmatic breathing, you'll find that, right? The next thing is just modulation, like that. But
Yeah.
you're always using this diaphragm to
Yeah.
push it out, because if you don't, you won't be able to do that.
Yeah. You're using your throat,
You're using throat,
like
yeah.
your
So
voice
if I
box.
went back
Not
like
to,
this, I find it really hard to modulate. But if I go forward, see the difference? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
So
So
you can
right,
you can
that
hear that you feel the pressure in your stomach because you're actually projecting from your gut,
yeah,
not trying to push
yeah,
your throat.
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a number of ones that you can do. Like you can get outside and woo, do these kind of like air raid sirens, ooh, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. But the big thing is that the more you practice it and the more you project it, right? Like I'm talking, I don't know whether you can see, but
It's a bit
see where
forward.
my
Yeah.
chin is compared with my
Yeah.
chest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So whenever I'm talking in public or, something like this, which is essentially public, I always have my headphone. But if I'm talking to, to Rosie, hey, darling, blah, blah, blah. So it's a different way of talking.
Mm.
Okay. Any other questions? Jürgen, what are your thoughts?
A lot of thoughts. I've heard quite a bit of that before, but putting it all together, I think the projection, that one is definitely new.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people saying you need to talk from your stomach up,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think your idea there with the 10 meters and then trying to get that clarity
Yeah.
out.
And
Uh,
it all comes back to that original slide. Remember
yeah,
the two C words, what were they?
yeah. Sorry, what?
Confidence.
Confidence and
Confidence and
Confidence,
competence.
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 All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you practice that, your competence will increase. And what does that do for our confidence?
Yeah. It just increases.
It increases because we're able to communicate. So
Yeah.
those parts, I spent a long time on that, overcoming glossophobia, but that's really important. So think about the Chinumbro wall. The more you search for it too, it might be made into a word in the
Yeah.
edition.
Google will make it into a
Yeah,
word
yeah,
now.
Google will make it into a word, right?
Yeah.
So think about that. Think about the one-way mirror, the almost like a stupidity of having an audience there you don't know about. And so it's not the audience that counts, it's your perception of the audience. All right. So there's a difference. Think about that role playing. So when you go on stage next time, you play the role of the speaker. You lie to yourself, basically. You become a downright little dishonest duckling. Oh, how's that for alliteration, eh?
Dishonest little duckling.
A dishonest little despicable duckling. You know, that's alliteration. All right.
Uh,
Um, so yeah, just try some of those ideas. Not all of those ideas will work for all of you.
yeah, it's kind of an arsenal, though. I mean, you're supposed to dip into it and find out which one fits. You're not
It's,
supposed to wear every garment, just the one that you resonate best
yeah,
with
yeah,
and works
exactly.
well
There'll
with
be
you.
some things that you'll take away from this first session, and you'll go, "Whoa," Did everybody get something out of this first session?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Cool.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, just let me know if I can help you in any way before the next one. I'm happy to do the 1 hour either in between or after the last one. I've got no preference on that, so whatever you'd like. And let me tell you something. I'm hard. And Eve, you'd know that.
Yes.
I'm a hard, freaking hard coach, and I'll be hard on you.
Oh, I'm
hard.
scared.
I'll be harder
Looking
on.
forward to it.
I
Well,
will
it's
be
honest.
hard, man.
It's not hard. It's just being honest. You can't really mince your word. You're trying to
I love it.
get
I
it
love
better,
it.
So
I'm
yeah,
not going to
you
mince
gotta
my word with
say
you
what
guys. You know. Hey, listen. I'm not going to mince my words. I
No,
would
you
be
can just
doing
tell
that.
me, Liesel, you suck. That's fine. Yes,
No,
I
no, it's
love
not
that.
that. No.
well, no, I'm not going to say that either. I'm saying you can do better. No, I'm not going to tell anybody they suck. All right. This is why some Toastmasters, right? They are even Jürgen. You've never been to Toastmasters. It's quite funny, right? You get evaluation. I actually got runner up in evaluation district this year, which surprised me. But um, evaluation is basically you've got to tell them what they did right, and then a couple of reasons or a couple of things they could improve. Oh my God, it's so twee. Seriously, when you're practicing for a competition, you get all these evaluations, and I don't listen to any of them in the end. That's a little secret. I don't listen to any evaluation, right? I listen to my coaches, but I won't listen to evaluation, because mostly. But the one that I do for you guys, that'll be taken from a coaching point of view rather than a bit of a twee toasty thing.
All right.
All right, and I'll be hard. I mean, you know. If you've really ballsed it up, I'll say, hey, you ballsed that up, man. All right. I'm not telling you suck, but you balls it up, you can do better.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
My first public speech was a flop, so I have a lot
Ah
of
ha ha.
experience.
Okay. All right. Hang on, Jerry. I don't want to ever hear that from you again.
Mhm.
I don't want to ever hear that from you again.
Okay, and I
Because
mean,
what are you doing? What are you doing? The
Living in the
past,
past.
the past has passed. It's gone. It's finished. We learn lessons from that. If you had said, well, the first speech I did, I learned what I shouldn't do. I learned some things about myself, right? But saying you suck, well, geez, the first speech I did was probably a suck too, but I probably did it 4 years old or something. I don't know. In the
it
sandpit
was a
at
go.
kindergarten. I'm not sure. I can't even remember. You know, I mean, I tell you, the first professional speech I did as a keynote, oh my God, I look back at that and think, oh, Pete, you progressed a long way. And that's only in a year and a half. It was only a year and or not even a year and a half ago that I was shoulder tapped at Auckland Toastmasters after doing a speech by the then membership officer of the organisation. Now I'm the membership officer. God, geez, how the hell did that happen?
Well, you wanted it. It happened.
Uh, I wanted it desperately, like
There
you
we go.
would
So
believe.
yeah, you
Like
made it
you
happen.
would not believe.
Yeah, well, you made it happen. So that's the whole mind thing.
Exactly. And
Believing
therefore,
in
yeah. So
and
I'm
being
telling,
gentle with yourself as well, like chastising is not the way to, improve. You've got to be positive and supportive. So when you say you're going to be a hard taskmaster, I know you're not going to be horrible to us. This is going to be helpful,
yeah,
and
of
point out
course.
the things we can do
I'm
better.
hard on myself. I've never done a speech that I'd rate over 80% because I always know that there's better ones. Even my winning ones, even when I got runner up in this world challenge, I thought it was maybe 85%. But it wasn't
Mm.
100%, otherwise I would have won. But mind you, it wasn't too bad, you know. Um,
Uh,
so yeah, but you can be hard on yourself, but be hard. Don't be critical. Don't put yourself down for what you haven't achieved. Raise a thumb to what you have achieved.
Awesome. That's
Right?
good. Lovely.
Cool.
Thank you.
Liana, you got something out of this?
Yeah, yes. Overwhelming all the information. Just need, yeah. But yeah,
We've only
that
touched
was
the
good.
surface. We've only touched the surface. There's so much to speaking, and look, there's longer ones that we do and all that sort of thing. But the big thing is just practice, just experiment, and just be yourself, but step into the role. Okay. And Lizelle, get your head forward. All of you, get your head forward a bit. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Thanks so much for
Thanks, Pete.
coming along. And
Thank you.
it's the
Yeah, thank
same.
you.
link for next week, and I purposely haven't given you the second part of the workbook because I don't want you going ahead. But your challenge, your 7-day challenge, is to write a speech. I think I've said what, a 2-minute or something, or 3-minute, I think. Write a speech. Try your top down, try your bottom up, try your mind mapping, see what you do. Write a speech, record it, be ready because next week you're going to do it.
Oh, okay. So what you've just given us homework. Okay. All right. Okay, lovely. Thanks, Pete. All right, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Take it. Oh, next Wednesday, by the way, I'm doing a keynote speech at the Hibiscus Business Business Hall, was it?
Association.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's Business Association.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah. So
Business Fungaparoa.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I come along if you like. It's $10, is it? You can
20, I'm afraid.
20. You're afraid? Okay.
20.
Okay.
Oh,
To,
it's
to
worth it.
cover the evening cost, basically. Well, not really. It's still sponsored.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, yeah, Peter. I invited Peter. I'm on the committee of that organization, and Peter was very kind to offer his time. So I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a cool evening.
Nice.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Here it comes.
There
Okay.
it comes walking down the street. Gets funniest looks from you. Be too young to remember the monkeys. But anyway. All right. Take care, everybody.
All right.
Have a
Thanks.
great
Okay.
evening.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye,
It's a
See you
pleasure
again.
to
everyone.
see
Thank
you all.
you.
Nice to meet you all.
Yes. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Peter.
Bye.
Cheers.
See you, mate. Haha.